Hey guys, it's Trey, and I want to talk about Wonder Woman 1984. There most likely is going to be some spoilers, so don't watch this video or listen to the video until you've seen Wonder Woman 1984. Or if you don't care, okay, that's fine. But here's my overall thoughts about Wonder Woman 1984. All I got to say is the media, journals, and some Wonder Woman haters or something like that were complete liars about Wonder Woman 1984. Especially with the whole propaganda, feminist, anti-Trump message thing apparently that I've been hearing, that it's like, yeah, the movie's woke and it bashes Trump and Orange Man bad, men are terrible and trash and women are good, or and that's it or whatever. But I'm just like, I don't know what movie most of these people been watching, but no, Wonder Woman 1984 isn't that propaganda movie at all, to be honest. I will say Wonder Woman, the first movie, is way better than Wonder Woman 1984. I did enjoy Wonder Woman 1984, but the first Wonder Woman movie is leagues better than 1984. And I feel like with the movie that's almost close to 3 hours, I just feel like we had so much stuff that was left on the table, and some things could have been left out. But that's just my opinion. Um, I went to go see it in theaters. I know some people want to go see it on HBO Max, but I've been waiting for this movie to see it in theaters. I am a movie buff, so I like to see my movies mostly in theaters. And I know it looks like the end of theaters is coming soon, and we're going to be stuck at home watching cheaply made movies, because let's be honest, these movies aren't going to be made like that anymore if movie theaters are closed. But that's just another topic for another day. But with Wonder Woman 1984, I can tell you the beautiful opening scene of Diana with the Amazons is just like, yes, DC, you guys kill it with the Amazons all the time. Every time they come on screen, it is really amazing to see these beautiful women doing all of these amazing tricks and acrobatic feats or whatever. At this point, they really should do like a spin-off or something like that, or some kind of arc where it focuses on Diana returning to the Amazons or something, because they really, have this potential with these warrior women, and kind of leave it there. Oh, I would just love to see something like that. Maybe they can base it off of that terrible Amazon attack arc. I know it was horrible, but it did have the Amazons taking over the Earth. I mean, United States, because they thought that the United States had did something to Diana and waged war on the United States. And that was pretty cool to see. And I know there are going to be some feminist people or whatever be like, yeah, we need to take over for the men. No, it was just, they really thought that something happened to Diana, and they were like, we've been nice to the United States and man's world, but when they take Diana, they've gone too far or something like that. So that was really cool to see that kind of stuff. But excuse me. Anyway, you know, from seeing, Wonder Woman, they gave us a little brief little insight of Wonder Woman's life, Diana Prince. And the movie's more of a focus on Diana herself more so than her persona as being Wonder Woman, because in 1984 she's still like this mysterious unknown person, which if they do a Wonder Woman 3, I wonder if the movie's going to be set after the events of Justice League, or is it going to be set prior to the events of Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Man of Steel, because they really make sure that they keep trying to keep Diana from not being seen or heard from by people. When they have this mall scene and she's saving people's lives or whatever, she makes sure she destroys the camera, and people are like, oh, it was a mysterious woman that saved the day, but nobody knows who she is or anything. So that was pretty cool to kind of see that they really trying to stick to her staying in secrecy. Now, for me, when I watched the movie, I was expecting a little darker take on Barbara and Maxwell Lord to the extent those are the villains and stuff like that. But it was pretty cool that, you know, these opening scene from the mall led up to Diana and Barbara Minerva, you know, who will potentially become the Cheetah throughout the movie. You know, have this moment where they're talking about the Dreamstone, where they're dreaming, where you can wish for what you want. And, you know, Barbara wished for being like Diana. Diana wished for Steve Trevor subconsciously. And, you know, the plot kind of thickens from there or whatever. And Maxwell Lord, we come to find out he's not what he seems, as like he's this tycoon who like, oh, I'm the master of oil and all that kind of stuff. But then you realize he's a straight up loser, and he doesn't have what he is portraying to people on TV or whatever. And I guess they was like, because Pedro Pascal had that hairstyle like Donald Trump back in the day, that it had to be something like Donald Trump, even though most people really didn't have a problem with Donald Trump back in the 80s. So it was kind of like, I don't understand how they're doing this whole man's bad thing or whatever. It's just another tycoon person, you know, trying to convince people that he this amazing person when in truth he's really not. But usually they go the route where he is what he says he is. He just have this god complex or something like that. Usually what every business tycoon have, but this one doesn't. He's a straight up loser, and he's trying to provide for his son, but he needs the money and he doesn't have the money anymore. So that was pretty interesting to see that. I thought they were going to do where his business persona is you know, front for his true powers, where he, you know, in the comic books, and most people don't know that Maxwell Lord has the ability to mind control, like without anything or whatever. But they decided to change it where he's a normal guy. He gets the stone from Barbara after flirting with her and convincing her, you know, she'll be a big help or whatever. And then, you know, he wishes on the stone that he becomes the stone itself, so he can, you know, grant wishes and get more powerful or whatever. And that was pretty interesting. But at the same time, I was like, damn, I was really hoping he was going to be just a guy that had superpower abilities that was hidden, just like Diana. So that way, you know, you can have that dual moment where Diana's trying to keep herself away from the public. Maxwell Lord has powers or whatever, and this is be the first time that Diana met a human with supernatural abilities that's not part of the gods or the Amazons. You know, that would have been even cooler. But, you know, I could see where they were going with it. So it was really interesting to see that kind of thing. And then, of course, you know, you start seeing Barbara over time changing and being more confident, more sexy. And that was really cool to see that as well. And later on, Diana goes to try to talk to Maxwell Lord to try to get the stone, unaware that he had already turned himself into the stone or whatever. And because she subconsciously wished for Steve back, because you can see that she lived a long life. She was with Etta Candy and all the crew from the first movie, and they took pictures, and of course she was there for their lives or whatever. And of course she's the last one left from that group from Wonder Woman. So if you watch Wonder Woman, you can see those little moments, and you can kind of feel how Diana feels so alone and so shut off from the world or whatever. Yes, even though she does go out to save people every day, she still keeps herself hidden from the world, which is kind of crazy to think. But, you know, of course, that's how it was set up, that Wonder Woman kept herself a secret for all these years up until Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. So that was pretty interesting to see that kind of stuff going on as well. What was I getting to? So basically, she's at the gala, and, you know, this guy's trying to talk to her, but, you know, she's like, I'm not trying to hear you. I'm not trying to flirt with anybody. I'm just trying to, you know, find Maxwell Lord. The guy is saying all of these amazing things that Steve used to say to her. And, you know, one is freaking Diana out because, you know, only Steve would say some stuff like that. She can't possibly deal with somebody knowing something about her that wasn't between her and Steve, and then the guy magically transforms into Steve. Even though to everybody else he's that guy, to Diana is Steve, and it's Steve's personality and memories and spirit inside of that guy's body. So that was pretty interesting, and it's like, it brought back that joy that Diana missed or whatever, because like she said, being away from everybody or whatever, she kind of closed herself up, where she only just works, save people lives, and go home and call it a day, and not really enjoy the world. Like, she knows of the world, but she doesn't actually enjoy it like she should, because she self isolates herself. So that was pretty interesting to see they're still keeping up with that continuity of her staying out of the public eye like that. Excuse me. So basically, Maxwell Lord gets the power of the Dreamstone, goes around the world convincing these people to give up, wish on stuff like that. When they wish it, he takes what he wants from them, even though it might cause side effects or whatever. And this caused massive pandemic around the world, like mass hysteria. People are acting crazy. It's just retarded. And it was pretty interesting, but at the same time, they spent so much time with building up the Steve and Diana return thing, and Barbara having her moment to shine or whatever. It kind of felt a little too bloated for my taste or whatever, because I really wanted to see more action from Wonder Woman, but at the same time, I understand why they couldn't do it. If you ask me, it's like the sequel decided to go less instead of more, which is kind of weird, because usually sequels try to outdo themselves, but instead it's just like Wonder Woman 1 was there, it was doing a lot, and then you have Wonder Woman 2 1984, where they were like, we're going to tone it down and just focus on Diana Prince. And you can really tell the movie really wanted to get us into the head and heart of just Diana Prince, just Diana, not as Wonder Woman or not as anybody, that she's a woman who misses her friends and family and her lover, and she lost all of that, and she's still here. So that was pretty interesting to kind of see her deal with that while trying to like stop Maxwell Lord or whatever. And of course, she uses Barbara Minerva to help her out with the research or whatever. And it was pretty cool to kind of see that over time, Diana started getting weaker while trying to stop, Maxwell Lord or whatever, not realizing that because she wished on Steve, she gave up what made her great or whatever, stuff like that. And it frustrates her, because it's just like, she admits that she does everything. She doesn't mind saving people's lives. She doesn't mind doing everything or whatever. But she was like, it just kind of sucks that this one thing that she's always wanted was Steve, and it's him, and it's kind of interesting to kind of see that kind of side, because of course people were trying to be like, oh, it's going to be another one of these women don't need no man kind of thing or whatever, stuff like that. So it was really refreshing to actually see a powerful woman like her be vulnerable with a man, and being basically saying that I am strong, but at the same time I miss you and I want you, and I don't want to have to sacrifice everything that I love because I have. Why can I not have this one thing, And I can understand that, you're literally asking a person who's been around for almost 100 years that, hey, you have to give up all of these things. You have to save the world, be the hero, be the person that everybody wants you to be. But at the same time, you can't have the one thing that you want. And that's kind of, a little heartbreaking moment or whatever. And I don't even really have those kind of emotions, but I can really feel it from Diana. And like, you can really feel that she really knows the choice, but she doesn't want to make it. So it was pretty interesting seeing, Diana and Steve, jumping from place to place to try to catch Maxwell Lord. They even did a little cameo appearance from the Invisible Jet where, you know, Diana used a magical spell that apparently Zeus taught her. Which is kind of breaking continuity because she's not supposed to have a father in this one that they say. I don't know, it's a little muddy or whatever, but she turns one of the jets that they were flying invisible, and it was so cool. Because of course, you know, in the DCU, Diana can't fly. She can kind of jump real high and kind of like use the air currents to glide a little bit and use her lasso of truth to like, you know, spin around to get velocity or whatever to make it look like she's flying, but she's not flying, which is kind of funny. It's just like, I don't understand. Just give her the ability to fly. I never understood that with DC. Like, she can fly in the cartoon, she can fly in the comic books. We really don't need this. Or at least after the events of Justice League or something like that, she can fly because she really needs to fly. It's weird for her not to be flying, to be honest. That's just my opinion. But basically, her and Steve have a face-off with Maxwell Lord in the White House, where you see all those impressive, you know, circus that Olette moves that Wonder Woman were doing, and then the Cheetah appears. Barbara, you know, appears in that little, you know, that you know, sexy cheetah print outfit where she reveals that she's not going to let Diana take away the wish that she wants, because, you know, she's special now. And it sucks because, you know, she's always been this loser or whatever, and it's hard being her or whatever. But Diana's trying to convince her, like, no, it's not like that or whatever. And of course, you know, Barbara turned it against her, was like, well, if I have to give up what I want, how come you're not giving up what you want? Which is pointing to Steve. In order for Diana to get back better, because like I said, over time, she is literally losing her abilities and can't really fight like she should, because of the fact that she got Steve back, but at the cost of her gifts that she was granted. So that was pretty interesting to see that, you know, she was fighting at the White House. You know, the world is getting crazy. People are wishing for these crazy things to happen to everybody. The world's literally about to like blow up without, you know, nobody's able to stop them. And then you have Diana and Steve having this one last moment where Steve is convincing her that you have to let him go. And she really doesn't want to, but Steve knows that it's the right thing, and he's talking about, you know, you have to let me go. And, you know, she doesn't want to, and then she was like, it's too late, I'm already gone or whatever. And then, you know, she turns away from him, sharing one last kiss, and, you know, her body heals, her wounds heal, and then, you know, she becomes Wonder Woman. She's, you know, used the lasso of truth to leap into the air and launch herself and try to use the advice that Steve was telling her about flying, to, you know, glide herself on the wind and use the lasso to, you know, to whiplash across the sky to make it look like she's flying. And even at night, the thunder and lightning and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy that she was able to swing from thunder and lightning. That was just wow. And then she goes home and gets the golden eagle armor from the legendary Amazon warrior. And she goes and, you know, fights Maxwell Lord again after he done, you know, convinced the Pentagon to give him the ability to broadcast his wishes and powers around the globe or whatever, like that. So that was pretty cool. And then, of course, you know, Barbara wished one more time, and, you know, then she becomes the Apex Predator. She becomes Cheetah. Again, I would have wanted them to go more mystical with Cheetah, and then it makes you wonder, like, now that happened in 1984, is Cheetah still around now? Is Barbara still around, or are they going to use another character that is Cheetah? Because that'll be interesting to see that one, because that is Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, and it kind of makes no sense that she's not around or whatever. So with the power of Maxwell Lord, she becomes the new Cheetah, where she actually looks like Cheetah. And I was actually impressed by it. You know, the CGI still look wonky for certain parts of, you know, Kristen Wiig as the Cheetah or whatever. But it was pretty cool to actually see them actually go for it when you think about it, because it's just like, damn, y'all really went for it. And it's less CGI, unlike the first movie where, you know, people was criticizing the final boss as a big old CGI fest. This one, you got Wonder Woman in that beautiful golden armor fighting off, you know, Cheetah, and, you know, they have this little cool whiplash fight thing going on or whatever. And then, you know, of course, Diana defeats Cheetah and, you know, talk to Maxwell Lord, try to convince him not to. At first, she couldn't get to him because anytime he makes a wish or whatever, this powerful windy vortex protects him or whatever, and he can't be touched. And then eventually, you know, Wonder Woman was able to wrap her lasso around him without him knowing and compel him to see the truth of everybody and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to see that kind of stuff. And of course, you know, towards the end, Maxwell Lord hears his son calling him and stuff like that, and he gives up the power. He denounced everything. Everything goes back to normal for the most part. Maxwell Lord runs to go see his son and stuff like that. And of course, Barbara gets left with not being powerful anymore, being back to what she used to be beforehand. And of course, you know, Diana, you know, taking Steve's advice to, you know, enjoy the world and you know, embrace it a little bit more. And she even runs into the guy that Steve was in, or body was in. So that was another cool little thing. Like, hey, he doesn't remember anything, but Diana remembers him. And, you know, she goes off in man's world to, you know, be better person and stuff like that. And then the movie kind of ends with her going off, you know, saving the day, using her new ability to jump through the sky and look like she's flying. So that was pretty cool to see that kind of stuff. And then they even had this little cool post-credit scene, but I'm not going to reveal that one. I think that should be something that people should go and watch. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was pretty cool to see this movie, to be honest. But yeah, that was really it, really. The movie was, to me, just a tad bit too long, a little cheesy, a little too lovey-dovey sometimes. But overall, it was just a nice feel-good movie. I don't know what half of these folks talking about how it's Trump bashing or this hyper feminist thing, because I mean, just like, hey, Barbara Ann Minerva, she became a bad guy. You know, Diana tried to save her. She couldn't save her. She had to defeat her. Maxwell Lord was just a man who wanted to not be a loser anymore. You really can't fault somebody like that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I would have thought that it would have went darker with both of those characters. It felt like they spent a little bit too much time trying to set everything up instead of actually just like going for it. You know, I would have wanted them to go forward for it, but that's my opinion. But like I said, I do think the first movie is better. It was pretty interesting to see Diana use all of those amazing athletic moves and stuff like that. But, you know, I kind of would have loved to see her take on somebody else or whatever. I don't know. Just, I kind of wanted to see more of her versus the Cheetah, because with her being powered down a little bit, we never really got to see what full potential both Diana and Barbara Minerva fight could have been as the Cheetah. That would have been even better to see that kind of stuff. And really, I don't really have any complaints. It's not the best DC movie, but it's a good little sequel to Wonder Woman, and it's just a little good DC movie, especially compared to what we got early in the year with Birds of Prey. And people are trying to say that movie was way better than Wonder Woman 1984. That's a whole lie and a half, if you be honest. It's nowhere near the masterpiece that Wonder Woman 1984 is. If we really want to talk comparisons, you know, I just feel like it's always fun to really kind of bash DC EU movies. Really, I mean, I know I can sit there and handle all assets of Marvel and DC or whatever, but I just kind of always find it weird that we can criticize most of DC, but we don't really want to criticize Marvel. And if we do criticize it, people are defending Marvel way more than they'll defend DC, especially when all the information that comes out about how the executives rushed everything and how there were certain things that happened in the movies that had to be put into the movies or whatever, and how the studio did the actors and Zack Snyder wrong or whatever. And it's kind of funny, everybody always be talking about, oh, that Man of Steel movie isn't the the Superman movie that we wanted. But then when they gave us the Superman movie, Superman Returns, people was like, oh, it's cheesy, it's trying to be like Christopher Reeves, we don't want it. So I don't know, it was just kind of weird that, you know, that complaint was one of the weirdest things. Like, hey, it went dark. Well, you know, hey, it's contemporary. They decided to go their own route. I think that's what DC likes to do. They like to do dark stuff, sometimes a little too well, to be honest, but it is what it is, to be honest. I think what really could have saved a lot of these movies is more color, which I can give Wonder Woman 1984 that, except towards the end with the Barbara and Wonder Woman fight. That should have definitely been in the daytime. That's just my opinion. But other than that, really, that was really it. Those were my thoughts about Wonder Woman 1984. I really think people will enjoy it. There's really not much of craziness that's going on in the movie. It's really one of those sequels that's really just like a simple sequel. You can watch it or you can't watch it, but you're really not missing much, if you get what I'm saying. It's not really trying to set up anything or whatever. It's just like, hey, here's what Wonder Woman was doing in 1984. Other than that, that was pretty it. But yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Merry Christmas. Have a good holiday and all that good stuff, guys. And you can drop a like and comment and all that fun stuff. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.